Alexander writes, and today we're going to do a review on a product that I've already done one in the past, but I've seen online that video is about a year old, and so I wanted to come and kind of give an updated review about the Freewrite, give some new thoughts to it, as well as a little time lapse of me using the device, and just go from there. So I hope you are interested. I hope you enjoy the video. If you'd like and subscribe, that would be great. The Freewrite is something that I've gotten a lot of questions about, so I just want to talk about a year into owning the device. Do I have any regrets? Would I recommend it still? Stay tuned. So the Astra House Freewrite Smart Typewriter. This thing retails for $649 brand new. During the holiday, they do have sales on them, and they do have occasionally used sales on one if you want to get it at a cheaper cost. Originally, I picked this up secondhand, so I only paid about $180 for it, which was a pretty good deal. But if you want to know more about the story of how I got it, that would be in a video previously. Essentially just found it on my local OfferUp, and then ended up picking it up. This device I have owned for a year. I have written almost 2 books on it, written one from start to finish. I had a snafu where there was a syncing error and I lost some data, which was really unfortunate. But I have kind of honed how I use this device a little bit further, so I'm not going to get into the specifics about how this thing works. A lot of people know how these things work. I just want to talk about what works for me and what doesn't. So I will make a mention, $649 is a lot of money. You're probably going to say, this is too expensive, this is wildly... There's wildly cheaper options. You can get a Chromebook, turn the internet off, and you'll be fine. Well, as many people on YouTube have said, we don't want that. We don't want to use a Chromebook. We want a device that feels like something a professional writer would use. One thing I will mention, laptops, notebooks, iPads, there's no weight to them. It doesn't feel like I'm actually I'm not in love with the process when I use my MacBook. I will type on it. I've written books on my MacBook, but this device is just something separate, and it is something that stands out. I have taken this to work, coffee shops, people's homes. I'm always getting asked questions about it, and a lot of people don't understand what it is, and I have to kind of explain it to them, and then it kind of clicks for them, and they're very intrigued. They're very interested in what that means. And so this is definitely a conversation piece with my fellow writers in my Instagram community. It is something that's talked about quite often, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them in the description. If you'd like to make an argument against it, put it in the description. Maybe I can try to persuade you, but this device has been fundamental to the idea of being a writer, to the execution of actually becoming a writer. A lot of people have this idea that they want to write books and they want to do it, and it just kind of fizzles out. They can't reach a word goal. They have writer's block. This device eliminates that. And it's hard to articulate that without actually sitting down and using it. But I promise you that if you get your hands on any number of their devices, they have the Alpha, they have the Traveler, they have things that, depending on your lifestyle, make the most sense. This device, I haven't used the other ones, but this device for me makes the most sense because it fits comfortably on my lap. I can take it to work. I can put it in a messenger bag, and it just has some weight behind it. It's aluminum structure, so it's pretty heavy, and it just feels like a product that is worthy of the $650. We all buy iPhones. We all have laptops, but if we're being honest, the cost to make those feels a lot less significant than the cost that we're paying to buy them. This product, however, feels like I'm actually paying for craftsmanship. I'm paying for an aluminum case. I'm paying for individually sprung keys that sound fantastic. I'm paying for an e-ink screen that doesn't need a backlight, that can be seen in light, dark, with the sun, whatever. I'm paying for those features. With a laptop, you could be paying up anywhere near $600 to $1,000, and it costs the manufacturer, let's say, $100 to make it, or even less. I think Apple's margins are significantly less, and that isn't a dig against those companies. I just find personally that this e-ink screen is better on my eyesight. Same thing goes for Kindle. I have found that reading on a Kindle, which is the same screen as the one here, is just so much easier on my eyes, and I can stare at the screen for a long time. However, with my MacBook, I tend to get headaches after a while. So Pro, I can use this for a long time. I can take it anywhere. The charge is good for a long time. I know that I have the first generation of the Freewrite. There is a new generation, the third, which I've already started to budget for. I know this device has a shelf life. I know it will eventually go. And so I'm so invested in this device that I've already set aside, monthly budgeting, so that when this does decide to kick the bucket, which will be a very sad day, I will be able to replace it for another one, because that's how important it is to me as a writer and to my craft. Just in the same way that if your cell phone broke, you'd buy a new one. If your laptop broke, you'd replace it and get a new one. I'm not looking for any newness as far as tech. I know that some of the newer ones, you can kind of use the keys to move up and down the page, whereas once I write the word, the sentence, if I look back on it and there's a spelling error, it's just going to stay there until I do another draft, which is fine for me. So I do want to talk really quickly about the cons. And this comes from someone who I type for a living. So I'm always typing on something. If you don't type with this device on a nice level surface, you will start to experience some pain in this area. I also am a musician, so naturally I'll have some pain in my forearms, but if you're not taking care of your wrists or your arms and making sure that you're in an ergonomic environment, there is some pain to be associated when using this for long periods of time. The time lapse that you saw prior to this clip was 1,000 words, and that took me roughly 25 minutes. And that, again, is a testament to how cool this device is. I could write 1,000 words in 25 minutes. There really isn't an excuse as far as not hitting your word goal when you can get that many words out effectively. I could scroll my phone for 2 hours in a day, but sitting down with this device, it doesn't take time out of my day to sit down and write the 1,000 words. Those 1,000 words might need to have some work done to them. I'm not discrediting the fact that there's spelling errors, grammatical errors, but I feel like for me, it allows me to just sit down and write, sit down and focus, sit down and do what I want to do, and that's write. And so, yes, there is the negative that you'll get some soreness. There is also a negative sometimes where this doesn't always connect to Wi-Fi effectively, or I shouldn't say it doesn't connect to Wi-Fi. It doesn't always send emails like this send button. I will get an email with what I've done for the day. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I've always gone online to the Postbox account that is what you would need to use one of these devices and make sure it updates there. Haven't had an issue, perfectly fine. My draft is currently almost at over 19,000 words. And so once I hit 25,000 words, I'll probably just start a new draft, or I should say the new key, and just start a new document and start from zero and go back. I tend to break them into chunks. That way they're a little bit smaller files. After a while, there is some lag. I think the newer devices tend to get rid of that pretty quickly, but mine is the first generation. So there are some quirks that I've had to work into my routine. Also, I believe there's been a couple other channels, but the newer device here, the USB-C actually tells you when it's charging, which would have been helpful. had I not realized that when you turn the device on, when you're shuffling through these special screens, which are the ones down here, it will have the two little charge lightning bolt symbols on here when it is charging. And this thing lasts for a while. Once I wrote my first book, I put it into a deep sleep, didn't touch it for 2 or 3 months. A deep sleep is essentially just holding this button for a long time. It will go into a deep sleep mode, and then when you want to use it again, you'll just power it on. Sometimes you need to plug it in for about a day or so for it to build up a charge, but I haven't had any issues with that. And so, yes, so the Freewrite, is it something I would still recommend a year later? Absolutely. If you're wanting to take your writing seriously and you think that this device would help you bridge the gap between being newer or not hitting those goals and actually having a product that you can look at and say, I've made progress, this might be a device for you. But prior to owning the Freewrite, I was very sporadic as far as when I would write. I'd write 5,000 words in a day and then not write for a week, and then I read 1,000 words in a day and then I wouldn't write for a couple days. This device, I've written every single day for 1,000 words since I started this draft, and I actually enjoy it. I like it. It's fun. It can be a little bit loud because people aren't used to having sprung keys. We're used to those flat MacBook keys, which for some people is fine. I don't mind it. However, I would prefer to use my Freewrite because this is built for professional writers. It's built for people who want to write, and that is me. And so, yeah, it's a great device. I'm already going to be replacing this when it dies. Hopefully I have several years before that happens, but I'm so invested with the Freewrite that they have a customer for as long as they're making them, which I hope is a long time. At least until, I'm no longer alive. But the demonstration, in the beginning, I just wanted to show you what it was like typing on this thing. Again, there's negatives. It is quite expensive. Recommend saving up, setting a budget. If it's something you're interested in, don't break the bank, but save the money to buy it over several months of saving. There is potential for some pain in your arm. I already see a chiropractor for that, so it's nothing that I can't get over. And then also there is some times where it doesn't always send to your email, but it does update in Google Drive for me, and it does update on Postbox. So not too worried about that. Battery life is still fantastic. Folder system organizer is great. And yeah, portability is amazing, and it's a conversation starter. So if I haven't convinced you by now, let me know in the comments what your objection is. Maybe we can work it out. Maybe it just isn't for you, and that's okay. It's for me, it's for a lot of other people, and I found great value in the Freewrite. And I really do value the company. The company's great. The owner is fantastic. They listen to customer feedback. They listen to the people they serve, which is fantastic. And they have earned the business from me for as long as they're open. So anyways, that's a 1-year updated review. I will continue to use this device until I finish my draft, and then I will go from there. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this was enough to answer some questions. Like I said, if you do have additional ones, just drop them in the comments below, and I will answer them as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Thanks.